Welcome to Back Issues himself.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Ultimate Spider-Man!
Do it! Finally!
Finally, yeah! How many Clone Sagas have we done on this couch? Or at least on this show? We did the first
16?
Clone Saga, right? All of them.
At least
I
three.
think this is almost the last one. Miles Morales has his own Clone Saga. I'm not even
God.
gonna bother. Getting to the 100th issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, we're a few issues away. And Bendis is gearing up for 100 issues of Spider-Man, and they're like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, Clone Saga. And the internet went, ha 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 ha. Oh, that Brian Michael Bendis, what a kidder. And then Clone Saga, and they're like, oh.
What have you done?
Back then, that was a dirty word. Like, back then, people were still like, fuck Ben Reilly.
Still a dirty
fuck
word.
Clone Saga. No, but people still like the Clone Saga. Like, listen, people like the Phantom Menace, people like the Clone Saga.
Yep.
And we're in that reality now.
Yeah, because people who were like very, very young when
Right?
it came out don't know that it's bad.
Can I slide back to my reality though?
If you can, could you leave the door open ajar for me? This is the definition of hubris for Spider-Man writers. So I can do no wrong.
Fix the Clone Saga.
I
we
can
go.
do the Clone Saga, and I can make it good.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, this is the best Clone Saga.
Okay.
What?
I'm sorry, it's the best. Now,
Well, there has to be a best.
that's like
right?
saying the best
Yeah.
turd sandwich.
Right.
If you're reading Ultimate Spider-Man from like issue 1 to issue 100, it's a pretty natural progression of the character, of the story. It's fine.
It's not like a record scratch in the middle of the story.
No.
Okay.
It is the Clone Saga, so there's going to be some clones in it.
Right. Well, I would hope so.
You know?
Yeah.
It'd be weird if they weren't.
It's like watching centaur porn.
You're gonna see a horse dick.
The story opens, and if you remember from the previous story arc, Peter is dating Kitty Pryde.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde is a little high-strung.
I mean, she's an X-Man. That's
She is an
understandable.
X-Man, but she had a hard time, and that was when they went to Krakoa, and they dealt with Deadpool, and there's a whole bunch of nonsense that happened with that. The relationship between Peter and Kitty, or rather Spider-Man, and X-Man Kitty Pryde was public knowledge thanks to the televised Mojo broadcast of the X-Men battle on Krakoa.
Her name isn't Kitty, right?
I mean, it's Catherine.
Yeah.
They call her Kitty.
Okay. I always assumed she had a different name.
Yeah, it's Catherine.
All right.
But
Makes sense.
there's a strain on their relationship because the fact is, Peter and Mary Jane only broke up because Mary Jane just keeps showing up to Hobgoblin battles and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like
protect
he's like,
her. He
leave
still
me
loves her.
alone. Don't come here.
Right,
Yeah.
well, because I'm responsible for my uncle's death, for Gwen's death, and I won't be responsible for your death. Like,
I'll
please.
have another body on my conscience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm dating Miss Intangible.
exactly, because she can protect herself, and she's like constantly bombarded by danger. She'll probably get killed by Magneto anyway.
Right. And
That
that
won't
won't
be
have
my
anything
fault.
to do with me.
Somehow I'll make it my fault, though.
He's on the phone with Kitty, and Kitty is just quietly stewing in it. Because if you remember in the last issue, Peter goes to Mary Jane because there are vampires. And he's like,
Right.
I can't handle this anymore. And he just breaks down and he hugs her. He's also trying to maintain their friendship. Like at first he's like, there's no way we can be friends. And then they talk for a minute and she's like, I went on a date. And he's like, yeah, we can't be friends. This is horrible. And then vampires happen and he's like, okay, I need to talk to somebody who knows what my life is like. Because I need to cry sometimes. Because don't forget, 6 months ago my uncle got killed by a burglar.
Right.
My life has been just a concentrated can of bullshit.
6 months ago, my uncle got killed by a burglar. 3 months ago, one of my friends died.
Yes.
Yeah.
And today I found out there are vampires.
And one bit me. It's a lot. But he's also a moron because he tells his girlfriend that he went to Mary Jane and hugged her and cried. And
Right.
so she's just sitting there stewing in it. And Peter's trying to have cereal and she's just sitting in her jammies just being mad.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where I'm like, oh my God, are you me? Where he's on the phone and she's just so angry and she's quiet and he just goes, did you hang up? And she goes, no. And I'm like, I have had that conversation at least twice in my teenage years.
Yeah.
That exact moment.
Yeah. Did you hang up? You stopped talking.
I literally
Are you
have
still there?
I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Is it still you? Yes. Clear as day. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
What?
That's terrifying.
Why aren't you saying anything then?
So he's talking to her about this situation with Mary Jane. And she's like, I can't believe you didn't come to me. He's like, you weren't there. Mary Jane is my friend. She's known me forever. We're friends. And she's like, don't you see how this kills me inside? And he's like, whoa.
No.
You and I have been dating for a week. Like,
Yeah.
you're bringing a lot of baggage to this trip.
And
But,
I'm Mr. Guilt.
Yes.
And you're bringing
and
baggage.
you're a little much. But she says, I'm the one you're supposed to come to, not her. I'm the girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, well, like, you're my girlfriend, but she's my friend. She goes, well, you didn't break up with her because you guys are incompatible. You broke up with her because she can't have superpowers. Like,
Right.
you were in love with her, and I have to deal with that. And he's like, what? No.
It's like, well, yeah, I
He
mean,
didn't
that's a
say
fair
yeah,
point.
but he's kind of just like living in the moment. And then Aunt May comes
Wow,
in.
that is a fair point.
Yeah.
Are you gonna argue? Huh? Oh, I gotta go.
She's like, did you hang up? He's like, no. So Aunt May comes in, and he's like, hey. And Kitty goes, is that her? And he goes, no, it's my aunt. And she's like, oh. And he's like, yeah, click.
I got her.
Got her. And then Aunt May goes, who is that on the phone? And he goes, the sheriff of Crazy Town.
Oh, boy.
And Aunt May goes, oh, you and MJ got back together?
Oh!
And he goes,
I love the beginning of this book so far.
he goes, no, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm just like,
Yay.
oh, Bendis, yes! Yeah, Bendis is a meme, but dude earned his stripes.
Yeah.
Wrote
Also,
some
if
killer
she's
dialogue.
the sheriff of
That's
Crazy
great.
Town, you're Crazy Town, Peter. You are crazy.
So
true,
anyway, Aunt
yeah.
May's like, I got hoagies. And he's like, fuck yeah. And she's like, well, all you had to say was you weren't in love with her. And starts crying. So then he goes to school and he hangs out with Mary Jane.
No flapjacks? No wheat cakes?
No, wheat cakes don't really come up in Ultimate Spider-Man. She brought hoagies home. Like, she doesn't cook. She ordered out. So they're talking, and she's like, hey, listen, like, I made you a new suit. I'm working on it. Like, I'm going to get back together with you, you son of a bitch. But she's like, listen, like, you need a break from being Spider-Man, from, like, all this stress. Let me take you out. So they go to the mall. And
You should audition for the musical.
And then we got a whole subplot of Peter being in the Pirates of Penzance. No, it's not that. Instead, they hang out. They're at the mall. Pete's like, this is kind of normal. Like, I hate the mall, but I do feel better being here. And then that dude, that hunky bandmate who also worships a comic book legend and uses his, like, career as a trajectory for his music career. He comes over, the guy who kissed Mary Jane in the car, and she's
Yeah.
like, I'll never be with anybody but Peter. He shows up, and he's like,
Oh, boy.
hey, what's up? This must be Peter Parker. And he's like, how does this guy know my name? And he's like, well,
Oh, no reason. Wham!
he says, good for you. And then he leaves. And he's like, what was that? And Mary Jane explains, that's Mark Raxton. Mark Raxton in the 616 universe is Molten Man. Instead, in this universe, Mark Raxton is the lead singer for the band Molten Man. Bendis loves to reference Molten Man.
I remember when he did that.
Yeah, he
and
did
we
that.
are Molten Man.
Yeah, we're Molten Man. He's like, good for you. That hurts me, but I'm glad you're moving on. She's like, I'm not moving on, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, I told him to stop.
Yeah.
We don't do it anymore.
But they're talking, she's like, let's talk about your relationship. And he goes, honestly, Kitty doesn't even know who I am. And she's like, oh. An entire kiosk is thrown through the roof of the food court.
Whoa.
And chaos ensues. Spider-Man gets into his Spider-Man costume, rescues a child from debris.
Yeah.
Who was wearing Spider-Man shoes.
Yes, of course.
Nice.
But apparently the mother didn't pick out those shoes because she's like, Spider-Man, get away from my child! Ah! And she's like afraid of him because, Spider-Man is persona non grata.
Right, right.
And then debut Ultimate Scorpion.
Oh, boy.
Ah,
Yay.
now is this Matt Gargan?
It is not.
Oh.
So Scorpion's like, it's you! I'm not falling for this! He's just screaming his head off, saying a bunch of crazy stuff. And Peter's like, okay, I'm gonna kick your ass now. So they get attacked.
Interesting choice to give him this weird head backpack tail.
Yeah.
He looks like an alien.
He does. It's fun. It's fun design. I like this idea because it's like he's kind of because it's a scorpion. It's a little.
Yeah.
It's an aggressive insectoid creature, not unlike a spider. And if you're gonna have Spider-Man versus Scorpion, it's gonna be kind of like 1-to-1. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it's like the top of his head goes into the tail.
His tail is way too long.
It is way too
Scorpion's tail
Oh yeah, no. It
would be
just
like half that or
like,
less.
basically like the length of his torso.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's always the case.
Well, yeah, but he needs reach.
Exactly. He needs
Yeah.
reach. Yeah. So Scorpion, he shoots shit all over the cops and security guards nearby.
Looks like acid.
I don't know.
Venom.
No, we've already had Venom. No more Venom. But it gets in one of the dude's eyes.
Oh, it's cheese fondue.
That's what it is. It's just so hot. But the cops shoot both of them because, Spider-Man's a vigilante.
Oh, yes.
And
Also, he did steal someone's baby.
he rescued a baby and immediately delivered to his mother.
I mean, it's all in how you see it.
So Spider-Man and Scorpion fight, and Spider-Man's like, okay, you trashed them all, you attacked normal people, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. So he beats the hell out of this guy, cracks his armor, cracks open the face mask, and it's Peter Parker's face.
What? Well,
So-
that's not good. How does he
That's
prevent people from
weird.
seeing that Peter Parker
Well,
is
he
the
does kick his
Scorpion?
ass further away from all the other people.
Ah, okay.
And it's like, there's chaos, they're the epicenter of it, I'd stay
Right.
away.
Yeah.
But
What
about
Spider-Man
the
should do
cops?
is be like, oh my god, Peter Parker? This is Peter Parker,
Not
and
me.
I'm Spider-Man.
Except that Peter Parker's life is over, and now Peter
Yeah.
Parker is the Scorpion who attacked these police.
That's not better.
It's way worse.
But he's not Spider-Man.
Anyway, so the Scorpion screams out loud. He says, like, who are you, mysterious masked man? Reveal yourself to the crowd. That's what he said. That's what he told me to say and do. So clearly the Scorpion is manipulated by an outside force and is used
Right.
in this capacity to ruin and discredit Peter Parker.
Why would anyone want to do that?
Well, Peter Parker's got a lot of enemies. So Mary Jane goes home. Because she left the chaos at the mall and just went home. And it's like she's trying to like be normal with it because it's Spider-Man and she wants to be with him. So she's like, "Hey, Mom, Scorpion attacked the mall and I got away." She's like, "What?" Her mom's
that's fine.
Her mom's like, "Oh my God, my poor baby!" And she's like, "Mom, please, it's gonna be fine." "Okay, Mom, all right. I almost died at the mall."
It'd also be nice if she was like, no, Peter doesn't want me around danger, so when danger happens, I leave.
I booked it.
I'm following the
I'm doing it.
instructions.
Step
he has these
5.
rules.
Yeah.
I can't run into danger.
I'm on my way to winning him back.
Exactly. So she gets on her bed. She starts writing her diary, and then a window opens and she is abducted.
Oh my god. She can't get away from it.
Nope. So her mom discovers that she's gone, and that's bad news bears for Mary Jane. By the way, I should also point out this copy is signed by both Mark Bagley and Brian Michael Bendis. I'm an idiot and had this trade paperback with a glossy cover signed. So like eventually these are going to go away forever, but I wanted to point them out because I have them. So Spider-Man brings the unconscious body of the Scorpion to the Baxter Building where the Fantastic Four are living, and they're doing their thing. Of course, like. The Ultimate Fantastic Four are complicated. We won't get into like where they will go. Of course, Ultimate Reed Richards will eventually become the Maker and all of the baggage thereof. But right now, he's just a genius. And his future or would-be father-in-law, never be his father-in-law, but like Dr. Storm, Sue's, and Johnny's father is also a super genius, and he's working at the lab too. So there's a bunch of people there who are all big eggheads. I mention this only because we need to establish that there are a couple of super scientists in here who need to quickly solve some super science, and they need to do it either off panel or in between panels, and we're just gonna have to take that for granted. So
What are they watching on that TV there?
it looks like they're actually watching like a Conan or a probably Marvel equivalent, so it's Kazar.
Oh.
Would be my guess, but it looks like it's just kind of like a fun Easter egg. that
It
Bagley
looks
threw in there.
familiar.
It looks like one of those things from Bone.
Yes, it does. It looks like a rat creature. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I don't think it is, but it could be. I mean, Bagley might be a big Bone fan.
Yeah.
We all were back then. So, Spider-Man delivers Scorpion's unconscious body to the Baxter Building. He's like, "Let me in!" So they let him in, and he's just like, "We need to run some tests on this dude." And they're like, "Well, who is it?" He's like, "Well, he looks like Peter Parker." And they're like, "Well, then it's probably Peter Parker." And he's like, "No, it's not."
No, but specifically it can't be. So,
So they throw him into like a chamber, like a
Okay.
back to tank, and they hold him there, and they're like, "Wow!" Like we did some X-rays on him. Like that tail is grafted to his spinal cord. Like he is modified.
That sounds painful.
Oh yeah, no, it's as they call it, an illegal biograft, because like genetics and all the superhero stuff that you take for granted in comic books in the
like the
Ultimate
tech
Universe is like there's laws on the books about everything: clones, biografts, genetic manipulation,
right.
like all
as soon
that
as
stuff.
people figure out how to do this stuff, the government's
put it
like,
on
no,
the
you
books."
can't do that.
Well, Shield goes
Or
like,
you
okay,
can only
that's-
do it if it's like
we can do it.
authorized.
Yeah, exactly. So they're looking into it, and they're like, well, he's like a 99% genetic match for Peter Parker, which is weird because if it is Peter Parker, he should be a 100% genetic match. But I digress.
But part of him is weird biosuit.
So it could be just that. And he's like, well, here's the deal. And he takes his mask off. He's like, I'm Peter Parker. Now explain the dude in the suit. And they're like, And Human Torch is like, hey, I know you. We went to school together that one time. Reed Richards calls Nick Fury at the Triskelion, and he's like, hey, Mr. Fury. And Fury's like, what do you want? And he's like, hey, you're not doing anything like clone related at the at S.H.I.E.L.D., are you? And he's like, cloning is illegal. And he's like, yeah, I know. He's like, you're not doing anything clone related, are you? He's like, nope, no cloning going on here. Just want to make sure that you guys are not doing anything crazy related to cloning at S.H.I.E.L.D. He's like, okay, I'm going to pretend like this conversation didn't happen, but
Except I'm not, because now I'm going to be researching.
now I'm fucking confused.
Now I'm worried that you are doing something with clones.
He's like, well, you'd better not be doing anything with clones, young Dr. Richards, because that shit is illegal, and maybe I'll investigate you. Why'd you get the idea? And he's like, oh, I was just I was taking a deuce, and I was reading something about cloning in a magazine. I was curious.
Someone
Anyway,
put an ear on a mouse. It's crazy.
yeah, I gotta go. And they're like, well, we really handled that well. So
I don't think he suspected a thing.
So Spider-Man assumes that like he's lying.
Jesus, Reed.
Because don't forget, in a previous story, Spider-Man punched Nick Fury in the face and knocked his eye patch off, and it made
Yeah.
Nick Fury go, I think it's time for Spider-Man to lose his spider powers. Then
Yeah.
tracks down the Tinkerer, makes him work for him, and he has these Slayers, and he's like, oh, what do they slay? And the Tinkerer goes, what you got? Well, Spider Slayers. Getting there.
Yeah.
So, you know, Reed needs to take some blood from regular Peter Parker. He's like, we're going to do some tests. I'm going to check this out. So how'd you get powers? He's like, oh, I get bit by a spider. He's like, that's funny, but like, how did you really get your powers?
Yeah, but no, really.
He's like, no, it really was just a spider. I got bit by a spider.
You went into space.
So,
Yeah,
you know, they're
like,
talking
like
about...
that makes any more goddamn sense.
He didn't go to space. This Spider-Man did not go to space.
No, Reed.
Reed Richards.
Oh, yeah, Reed got hit by a cosmic ray. So it's like, well, yeah, is that so fucking hard to believe?
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's like, oh, wait, what time is it? I gotta go. And they're like, you gotta go. Your clone's here.
Yeah,
And
we
he's
got
like,
a clone of you
do
here. What's
understand?
more important than this?
My aunt says she's gonna kick me out of the house if I don't get here on time. I have to leave.
My aunt says if I don't make curfew, I'm dead meat.
Right. And you have not met my aunt. But no, she really has threatened him. She's like, I will not raise liars in this house. Next time you are late for curfew, you're out. So
What if I'm honest about it?
you're still
I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, that probably wouldn't go well. So Spider-Man goes home and he bumps into Aunt May as like he's coming in, she's coming out, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "Peter, where are you coming from?" He's like, "Oh, I was in the city getting my paycheck." And she's like, "Was Mary Jane with you?" He's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, her mother's losing her shit."
Oh boy.
So you know, he's like, "Oh, but I was just with her at the mall." She's like, "You said you were in the city?" He's like, "Oh yeah, no, but after that." So Peter's like, "Oh no, Mary Jane's missing. I gotta go." So he goes to Mary Jane's house. He talks to Mrs. Well, not Mrs. anymore. They got divorced. But like Mary Jane's mom, and we see outside
J.
of her room, Mom J. We see like handprints and feet prints outside of the wall of her window. So a spider person must have abducted her.
Yeah.
So
Or just someone with sticky hands and feet.
this is true.
Yeah.
So he leaves and he goes to the warehouse where he has run into her at least twice before. Like that's their place to go make out.
Uh-huh.
And
MJ?
yeah, and after she got thrown off the bridge by Green Goblin, she went there. And then
Okay.
after she ran away from home one time, after her parents were going to get divorced, she ran there. So he goes there, and when he ends up there, he runs into Spider-Woman.
Oh. Okay.
Debut of Spider-Woman. She's like, "Hey,
A Spider-Woman.
hey, this is awkward. I gotta go."
Is she a clone?
Is she a clone? Interesting question. She's new and she's like quippy, but
But this
you
book
know.
is called The Clone Saga.
Oh, yeah, she's on the back of the clone
yeah.
Saga. So
That would be weird.
you know, Peter's losing it. He screams at Spider-Woman. He's just like, "Where is she? Where's Mary Jane? There's nothing I wouldn't do to protect her." And he goes, "Well,
What are
great."
you wearing?
Yeah, Spider-Woman's like, "Great job." Then like
Yeah.
Peter attacks Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman kicks his ass. Spider-Woman then is like, "Oh shit!" Checks on him. He's fine. She's like, "All right, sorry. We didn't deserve this. Gotta go." And then leaves.
Does she have webs?
She has web. She's organic webbing.
Ooh.
That blasts out of her fingertips.
Gross.
That's what Spider-Man says. Actually, later on, he says organic webbing, neat, and gross.
Yes.
At this point in the 616 or main Marvel universe, I believe that Marvel Comics is trying to synergistically poach movie fans into comic book fans by making Spider-Man in the comics have organic webbing like he does in the movies.
Yeah.
So Bendis is doing a little meta commentary about how gross organic webbing is, and he is right. So Peter wakes up and he's like distraught, screaming for Mary Jane, doesn't know where she could be. Don't forget that also Aunt May and Peter moved after Gwen died. Aunt May's like, "My husband was killed here. My would-be adopted daughter was murdered here. I've got to leave.
Yeah.
I'm done." And they just move like a block away, but
Right, but a different house.
different house. But it's still on the market, or at least it's empty.
Right.
So he thinks.
So he's late for curfew now.
Oh yeah, but like now it's okay because he left to go look for her.
Oh, because he checked in?
Yeah, he checked in exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And I guess his aunt's okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how it is.
The check-in is the important.
Yeah.
So Peter goes to his old house to see if Mary Jane is there, and she's not. But Gwen Stacy is there.
What?
And Gwen Stacy is like, "You moved? When did you move?" And he's like,
When did you be alive?
You're alive? When did you get reborn?
Yeah, and by the way, fun little callback to the original or Clone Genesis, when when the beginning of the Clone Saga takes place, Peter runs up to his apartment, and standing in the doorway is the clone of Gwen Stacy. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of a synchronicity.
Now, is this like a gown of some sort? Like
It's
a
like
hospital
it's
gown?
like a nightgown, I think.
Okay.
That's not better.
No, don't worry. So Mary Jane,
You have to understand, all I'm thinking of is like, who cloned this person to have sex with them?
well, thankfully, Miles Warren is not involved in the Clone Saga. There's no
that's good.
jackals. There's no creepy like pedophilic
Perversions,
professors.
yep.
Yeah.
And there's no sex clones.
Okay.
It's all on the up and up of this horrible manipulation of natural laws of science.
Okay, we're off to a better start.
So Mary Jane awakens, and she is in
She's in a bell
a
jar.
big bell jar.
Yep. Well, I guess they're gonna clone her too. They're gonna make clones of.
We're making clones for days. We're not cloning Mary Jane.
Or they're making a terrarium for her
Yeah, we're going to put a stick and a leaf on there.
to simulate her natural habitat.
So Peter is standing outside of the glass jar, and he's like, I know how to protect you now. I figured it out. When I'm done, you will be perfect. And we pull back to reveal that Mary Jane is being kept in the remnants of Oscorp, where the Oz formula, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Spider-Man were born.
Okay.
And of course, this enshrouded Peter Parker, that ain't our Peter Parker. That's
Yeah,
another
it's
clone.
a clone.
Yeah, but like, where's his
Peter
tail? Why isn't
clone.
it grafted to his spine?
Well,
this
because
is a different one.
That's the clone of Peter Parker. That's the Scorpion with the Fantastic Four.
What?
Yeah, we got multiple clones.
So Peter deals with Gwen, the clone, and he's just like, you're dead. But he's like a teenager, and he's happy to see Gwen, so he's not like, fuck you, like he
Right.
was in the Clone Genesis. He's just
Right.
like, he just starts losing it. And
And she doesn't know.
She doesn't understand.
that she's dead.
she doesn't know. She's like, I died? When?
Right.
So
Does she have all the memories that Gwen would
yeah.
have?
Oh yeah, you can clone those. Listen, you're gonna have to take for granted the fact that like memories are something you can clone. I don't know why. Although they do establish in this that actually memories can be implanted via telepaths.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Where
how.
do the telepaths get the memories from?
Well, there
most
was
of
a
the time they're
telepath-
alive.
Yeah,
so I don't
especially
know how
if
that.
someone was dead.
Yeah.
Well, somebody read Gwen's mind before she died,
Right.
in preparation for
Or-
her becoming a clone
Except they
and
wouldn't have-
needing those memories.
she died by accident from a Carnage symbiote.
Yeah, someone was following her and reading her memories all the time.
All the time.
Getting ready
I
for
just
this.
like to think that
I don't know.
someone had like a Wikipedia page or like read her high school
Diary.
or something, and just like, all right, this is what I know about Gwen
Yeah,
Stacy.
I think I can
Yeah.
put together
I can
believable.
surmise. I'll fill
yeah.
in the gaps.
Yeah.
It's Gwen. For all intents and purposes, it's Gwen.
Yeah.
So we reveal that the clone Peter Parker that is keeping Mary Jane and Oscorp is a attempted version of Peter with a horribly disfigured face.
Oh.
This is, according to Bendis, back in the day, the Kane version.
I was gonna say, is this Kane?
This is Kane. They don't call him Kane.
Oh.
There's like spiritual like one-to-ones. Like
Yeah.
you'll
Right.
notice that he's wearing a turtleneck with a spider on it. That's like a kind of like throwback to the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider outfit.
And it looks like he stitched it together himself.
Yeah, exactly. But the disfigured face is the Kane aspect.
Yes.
But he doesn't do the mark of Kane or anything. It's just kind of like, I'm not going to do a one-to-one.
Right,
I'm going to
but-
throw like little references. Like we did the old Clone Saga with Peter and the Gwen clone. We got Kane in there.
Right. They've got a disfigured Spider-Man clone. We've got a disfigured Spider-Man.
Exactly.
We're calling it synergy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's synergy. And that's when Aunt May shows up.
Oh boy.
And Aunt May is just like, da! Because, of course, back in the day, like, in previous volumes, Aunt May talks about
Believing in ghosts.
how ghosts. She doesn't say that it's a ghost,
Hey, mate, you believe in ghosts.
but she does talk about how she's like, I need to leave this house because the ghosts will find me. But, like,
Right.
she doesn't say that. She's not like, ghosts!
Yeah, she wasn't talking about like the actual ghost. She's
Talking about
meaning
the
like the
memories.
Yeah,
emotional.
metaphorical
Yes.
ghosts. Yeah.
So Aunt May just hauls ass out of there, and Gwen's like, oh, man, I was dead.
That
So
was the look of a woman who's seen a dead person come back to life.
that's a woman who saw a ghost.
Yeah.
So Aunt May runs in, she grabs the phone. Peter's like, Aunt May, stop, okay. And he says to Gwen, he goes, I guess this is it.
I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this one.
I guess this is it. So he
Now
goes
wait
to
a
her-
minute. What does a clone of Gwen have to do with Spider-Man?
The fact that our life is upside fucking down.
How do I explain this
How do I
person is
explain
back
this?
from the dead?
I don't, I'm as confused as you, Aunt May. Like, no.
Yeah,
You don't look confused.
Yeah, Thanksgiving dinner 10 years from now, no one's going to laugh when you tell her you were Spider-Man the whole time. So he's just like, Aunt May, you got to put the phone down. Okay, I'm Spider-Man. It has nothing to do with...
shit, it happens!
Yeah, it's
Wow.
over. I'm Spider-Man. I don't
can't
know.
draw a direct line to
the
this,
Gwen clone,
but
like Gwen was killed because I was Spider-Man. Like that's my fault.
right,
And,
it is related. So,
but like right now she's not dead, and I have no idea why. And we're gonna figure it out together, you and me.
And I'm really happy to see her alive. Are you happy to see her alive?
Let's concentrate on that.
Yeah.
But she says, say the first part again. He's like,
Put the phone down.
I'm Spider-Man. Yeah, not the. Yeah. But she goes, prove it.
Oh.
And he's like, I'd rather not. And she's like, just prove it. So he flips upside down, he sticks to the ceiling. And it's cute because it's actually a throwback to when he showed his identity to Mary Jane. He did the exact same thing.
yeah.
Oh.
And
It is the most efficient way,
It
probably.
is.
Yeah.
And she goes, stop. And he gets down.
Stop
and she's
being
like,
Spider-Man.
She goes, the whole time. And he's like, yeah. And she goes,
Now, only part of the time.
well, yeah. She's like, so that's why Norman Osborn was such a psycho with us. Like,
Yes.
and this is Gwen Stacy, and she's a clone or something. Like, I'm looking at Gwen Stacy right now, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. It could be mad science. It could be, I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Just stop. Just get out.
Oh.
Get out. Take everything that this is and get out of my life. You're not my son.
Well, that's true. I'm not your son.
That is true and harsh.
I gave up my entire adult life to take care of you, and you lied to me the whole time. Get out.
Wow.
I don't want to.
I said no more liars.
Yeah. Take your ghost and get
You
out.
said no more liars. I'm just the
I'm
one.
the liar.
You can have one.
You can have one. So she's just screaming at him to get out.
Wow.
And that's when Peter's father,
mean-
Richard, walks in.
What?
She can't scream at him to get out. She's his legal guardian, is she not?
No, but he's 16. Yeah, yes, but like,
Okay, she's still allowed to kick him out of the
he's
house.
Spider-Man,
I
he's a
don't
fugitive
think
from the
she
law.
is.
I mean, like, no.
I think that's like child endangerment.
It's a different time. This book came out 20 years ago. Listen, I've been thrown
Pretty
out
sure
of my house
she's still
before.
responsible for him.
I've been
Yeah,
thrown out
she's
of my
also-
house before, and let me tell you something. Nobody was worried about the legal ramifications.
Yeah, but not
okay?
forever.
No, not forever.
Yeah,
For the-
she's also not allowed to slap him, otherwise someone will call Dyfus.
Exactly. But let me tell you something. That still happens. So Richard Parker walks in the door and he's like, take it easy on the kid. He just found out that the Gwen's still alive. Come on.
What the fuck?
And Aunt May goes, Richard, lovely timing for once. Take your son and get out of my house. And he's like, hey. And he's like, and Peter just starts crying. He's just
Yeah.
like, what? Did you know my dad? She's like, yeah.
Oh, who's the liar now?
Yes. And she goes, I knew for less time than you were Spider-Man. Okay?
I guess we're just living in a house of lies.
So the Fantastic Four are like, I don't know what to do with this clone. Let's just call Nick Fury. You know, he's going to find out anyway. Let's just call him.
Right.
So
Pretty
Nick
sure he
Fury
has
shows
something
up
to
and
do
he's
with it
like,
anyway.
who is this? Why is that Peter Parker? And they're like, no, it's not Peter Parker.
It's
And he's
99% Peter Parker.
It's the Scorpion.
They're
He's
like,
new.
They're like, Peter Parker brought him in. He's like, what? And they're like, are you doing cloning experiments?
Yeah. Do you know anything about this?
And so
I feel like
And then
you
Nick
might.
is like, we're cloning people.
Nick just goes, and then calls on his comms. He's like, I need you to meet me in Queens. Get everybody. Everybody! He doesn't do that. I did that. But
Right.
anyways, then we get to issue 100, which is like a huge, crazy, bombastic
Whoa.
issue. Revelations will be made.
Yes.
Lives will be broken.
Wait, so is this Peter's dad or is this a fucking clone? Like,
Right?
what is this?
I mean, like, you're meant to believe. It's just like, this is Richard Parker. He's back. So,
except it's an issue called the fucking Clone Saga.
yeah, but like, what? Everybody's a clone in this book? Aunt May's a clone. Mary Jane's a clone.
Well,
like, Nick
everybody who
Fury's a
shouldn't
clone.
be
Spider-Woman's
there.
a clone.
Right. I mean, so Peter is excited that his dad's alive, and so they hug, and then Aunt May's like, okay, you had your moment. Now get the fuck out of my house. You're like, you married my sister. I didn't marry into like, this is not my life. Take all your Parker shit and get the fuck out of my house. And he's like, come on, May. Come on. We're having a family.
Come
dinner. So
on.
come on. You know what we need? We need to have some pizza. Here we go. He goes into the fridge. He pulls out some pizza. He's like, come on. Let's have some pizza and let's talk this out.
This is an abandoned house. Why is there pizza there?
No. She ran back to her old house. They all
Yeah.
ended up back at the real house.
The real house.
Kane, or, Kane, because they don't call him that. Kane is dealing with Mary Jane. He's got like all these wires coming down. He's going to work on her. He hasn't experimented on her yet.
What does that mean?
He's got some plans to make her special. The plan is he's going to inject her with Oz. And Oz is the formula that made Osborn a goblin and Spider-Man.
I see.
Oh, he's going to give her powers so that Spider-Man doesn't have to worry about her being
Yes.
in danger
Yes.
anymore.
Because he has Spider-Man's memory, so he feels the same way that Peter Parker would,
Exactly.
even though he's a gross clone.
Yeah, although what you'll find out is that like he's not necessarily like obviously he's not a perfect Peter Parker clone, but there's certain aspects that are like amped up. You know, like his is obsession over Mary Jane and stuff.
Right.
So he's just like, yeah, here we go. And then he gets kicked in the face by a 6-armed Spider-Man.
Nice. Okay.
How many Spider-Man clones are we going to get in this book?
I don't think I should answer that right now. But let's say more than 2.
Is this a reference to
The 6-armed Spider-Man
Yeah.
arc. Yeah. Yes, it is.
All right.
Now, it is in no way.
It looks completely different.
He has a
but-
different costume.
yeah.
He gets his 6 arms in a completely different method.
yeah.
Morbius does not show up. So they're having pizza. Aunt May's just stewing in it. You know, Peter and Richard talk. And
Right.
Richard tells this story about how, like, okay, so yeah, like Richard and Mary Parker die in a plane crash, along with the Brocks, because Eddie Brock Jr.'s father and his wife were involved with Parker on the experiment to make the symbiote suit that is also an
Right.
anti-cancer incubator.
Right.
So apparently, basically, right before they get through the gate, Richard Parker has like a attack of conscience because he's like, if we make this deal with this other company, we'll like our work will be sold and like they'll use it to make weapons and shit, and I can't abide that. And basically, everyone involved, Mary Parker included, is like, you're a fucking weak loser.
Oh.
Like you just take the money and move on. We're practically broke.
Jesus, Parker.
Yeah, so then the Brocks and Mary get on the plane and they all die, and Richard doesn't. But like the flight manifest said that,
on the last second, he didn't get on.
he didn't get on right at the last second. So the flight manifest said that all of them died, but in fact Richard did not die.
Well, they didn't find the body, and they
Oh,
just
it was a horrible plane crash. Everyone was
still bodies.
I know.
There's
I know.
bones.
Agreed. So that's the like retcon for how Richard never actually died. 6-armed Spider-Man fights Kane, and like he's just like, dude, don't kidnap Mary Jane and mess with her genetics like you fucking
Right.
jackass.
This is not what we do.
Yeah, we're not doing this. We weren't created for this. So they have a big fight. Meanwhile, Kane kicks the shit out of 6-armed Spider-Man somehow. He like overwhelms him.
What?
He's like, okay, that was crazy, but let's get back to it.
Okay.
Well,
but I'm
he's
still gonna
obsessed with
experiment
Mary
on you.
Jane. If
Yeah.
6-armed Spider-Man is going to try and stop him from experimenting on Mary Jane,
Yeah.
his obsession is going to put him in
Right,
overdrive.
obsession,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
There you go.
Beats additional arms.
Totally. Well, 6-armed Spider-Man probably hasn't had like time to really master
The 6
the
arms.
extra arms. So Richard gives the whole like retconned origin. The idea is that like he bumps into Henry Peter Gyrich, who is in this universe just the CIA spook, who enrolls Richard Parker in in a new program. He's like, you work for me now. Fuck Shield. Fuck Nick Fury. Nobody likes him. And they use his super brain to come up with their own shit,
Right. Which
irrespective
is like
of
the
Shield.
thing that he didn't want to do.
Yes.
Which is like help the government get crazy technology.
Yes. So at one point, like during the Venom saga, Gyrich gives Richard the like footage that like the CIA got, and not like news, because it shows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, but of the Venom suit. And he's like, explain to me, Richard, what this is. And he's like, that's my Venom suit. Like, that's my symbiote suit. And he's like, yeah, well, it's fucking freaking out and grabbing people and eating them.
Yeah, it's supposed to eat cancer.
And then keep
Oh my
watching
God,
this.
society's a cancer.
And he's like, keep watching, and he sees like, he's like, who's that? And he's like, that's your son, like who's got spider powers. And he's like, oh shit. And he's like, so we're working on this.
Yeah.
So then Richard goes and finds Aunt May, and he's like, hey, I'm alive. And she's like, oh, fuck you. Like, he's like, look, I want to be involved. And she's like, you can't. You and your like science and your bullshit have destroyed what could be Peter's life. He has an honest chance to be like a good person, and you're a piece of shit, so fuck off. Like, don't be involved in Peter's life. Go away. So that's why he doesn't get involved.
That is a questionable decision on May's part.
Well, it wasn't really her place to say, but I understand her decision. So
I mean, she's the one that's raising him, so she's like, I feel like this is my decision.
right, exactly.
Except that's his fucking father.
Right, yeah.
Who didn't like give him up at birth or anything.
No, he did not.
fucking almost died in a plane crash and then was like pressed into
Scooped
service
up
by the government.
By the CIA, yeah.
Yeah.
So Richard like sneaks off to watch Peter like be a kid. He's like making out with Mary Jane. He's like, good for you, Peter. Yeah, scoring redheads. All right.
Nice.
And then Gyrich's like, hey, you got off you don't go off the reservation.
Right.
We got you. We own your ass.
Hey, quit being a weirdo around this high school.
Don't
Yeah,
creep
why are
on-
you creeping on fucking teenagers?
Exactly. So
Gross man.
yeah. So Peter's like, no, but how is Gwen alive?
Yeah, what does this have to fucking do with Gwen?
Why are you telling
Just
this
what I asked you
boring
like 5
story?
pages ago.
And then Nick Fury and the Spider Slayer show up, and they're like, everyone inside come out, and Peter Parker, you're under arrest. I am not fucking around.
Can you wait 5 minutes?
No.
How is Gwen alive?
He was just about to tell me everything.
Yeah, exactly. So while that's happening, Richard goes, okay, well, I think you gotta put on your Spider-Man costume and kick the shit out of Nick Fury. And he's like, dude, no, I'm gonna go talk to him. He's got like 1,000 dudes out there in like helicarriers and shit. And then while that happens, the stress of the situation makes Gwen freak out and she turns into a Carnage monster.
Oh.
What?
She's a Carnage?
She's a clonage,
Maximum clonage?
you might say.
Okay. Is she just Carnage?
No.
She's a
Basically-
clone that's also Carnage.
Is she
Yes.
Gwenage?
She's Gwenage. The idea is that, like, well, I'm skipping ahead, but the idea here is that the genetics that they scooped up were of her after being killed by Carnage, and so some
part of
the
Carnage imprinted
Carnage
onto
imprinted
her?
onto her.
God damn it.
So, like, when we made Gwen,
Tearing me apart!
it turned her into a Carnage thing.
Right.
They'll fix that later, but like,
And she's not just like a weird Carnage thing all the time.
Nope.
She can keep
can
it
turn.
inside.
well, she can like switch back and forth, but like,
Yeah, because the Carnage symbiote is in her blood or whatever.
she
and she's
is
fucking,
that. Like, she is a symbiote, more or less. Like, it's a
Right.
clone made from symbiote material. So, like, it's simulating.
It's a
flesh
symbiote
and
that
blood
doesn't need a person.
to attach itself. It is the.
So really,
person.
this wouldn't even necessarily have to be Gwen. This could just be Carnage.
It could be Carnage, yeah.
Just
But
pretending.
it thinks it's Gwen.
right, but it's yeah.
Or some shit.
Yeah, a mind wipe.
That's right. So Carnage blasts out the window and just starts wrecking everything.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Aunt May has a heart attack.
Oh.
I mean, yes, she just saw Gwen turn into a symbiote
like,
monster.
My nephew is Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy's alive. Richard's here. Shield showed up. Then Gwen turned into a Carnage monster. That's
Yeah,
enough.
that's enough.
yeah,
I'm out.
That's enough for a heart attack. That
Yeah.
is acceptable.
Yes, you have earned your heart attack, May. See you in the afterlife.
I narratively buy it. Is she actually going to die? What's happening?
I mean, if she does, Peter will somehow make this about his guilt.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So then,
I
could've told her
shouldn't have told her I
sooner
was
and it wouldn't have
Spider-Man.
happened.
That was the thing that pushed her over the edge, was that knowledge.
yeah. Or I should have told her like a year ago,
Yeah.
and then like, or whatever, 5 months ago.
5
and
months
then,
ago, yeah.
Then maybe it wouldn't have happened like
This
this.
is true. Yeah. So Mary Jane awakens and she meets up with Kane, and he's like, "Congratulations, it's the all-new you."
So he does it. He makes her
He does it.
like
he just cuts her hair.
ossified.
He Ozes her, yeah. So
Okay.
I can't wait to see what that turns her into.
yeah, you can.
Because, like,
So,
Yes.
the goblin.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
It's a
was
goblin.
a freaking goblin.
Goblin. Well, yeah, Green Goblin was a big goblin man. Hobgoblin was a kind of like rocky demon thing, and Peter's a Spider-Man. So Carnage is wrecking everything. They blast out all these like microwave emitters and spider slayers, and like it's not going well. Meanwhile, Peter is just like holding Aunt May, and he's just like, "Dude, Dad, you gotta help her." And he's like, "I don't know what to do."
Get her out of here. Get a
He's like,
defibrillator.
you gotta watch her. I can't leave her. And he's like, you gotta go out there and stop her from killing all those dudes. So Peter wants to take Aunt May, and he's like, I'll stay with her. So Richard stays with Aunt May, and Spider-Man's just like, fuck this. And he just jumps out there going for Fury.
Okay.
Just blasts out there as Peter Parker and just starts like wailing on everybody. And Nick Fury's like, you're under arrest. He's like, oh, I'm under arrest.
Oh, am I?
So he gets hit by like a bunch of different like ray guns that knock him down. He's
Oh.
like, sorry, kid, that's just the nature of the beast. And Peter's like, ah! Like he immediately recovers and just like beats the shit out of Nick.
So Peter teams up with Carnage
More or
in
less,
this fight.
yeah. You got a Peter Parker Spider-Man Carnage team up.
Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Carnage, Gwen team up.
That's right. Nick Fury is going to shoot Peter, and then his gun explodes because the Fantastic Four have arrived.
Oh, yay.
And they're like, that's enough, Nick. You have made the situation 1,000 times
Yeah.
worse. And it's like,
How would this help?
right. And Nick Fury is like, get your Fantastic Four the fuck out of here, okay? Because this is a shield operation. He's like, dude, no. And then Carnage is like, wah! So Carnage jumps on Thing. And he's like, I got it. So like, Thing's just fighting Carnage.
Nice.
And
I'd love it if the Fantastic Four were like, Fury, we told you not to step. Oh my God, what the hell is that?
it's more or less that. So Sue goes to deal with Aunt May because Peter's like, my Aunt May's having a heart attack. You guys are doctors. Go help her, please. Carnage throws Thing into a department store across town. Mr. Fantastic fights Carnage. He's like, this is neat. Like Carnage's like, rah, 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 rah. And he's like, no, this is kind of cool. Like because he's stretchy.
Right, he's kind of similar to me.
like,
Yeah.
You can't cut me or pierce me.
Right.
I'm just gonna mold.
And I'm just gonna like look at you for a minute. It's like, this is wow. So
You are interesting.
yes. So Sue Storm meets
I
up with...
might be a bad guy.
Oh, I hope this doesn't awaken something in me.
Let me put this helmet.
So, Sue goes to deal with Aunt May. Richard is like, I don't know what to do. And she describes like, what kind of condition is she in? And she like uses a bunch of fucking medical dialogue.
Yeah.
And and Richard's like, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I don't know any of that stuff.
Aren't you a doctor?
Yeah, but not that kind of doctor.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah, I'm a scientist doctor. I make like illegal clones and shit. I don't know. So Sue makes a force field that picks up Aunt May, and they just like go. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take your dad, and we're gonna go to the hospital. You can deal." Like she's just in the bubble, like there's like lasers and screaming and monsters, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take your dad and Aunt May, and I'm gonna go to the hospital." He's like, "Thank you," and then they leave. And
Sue, you're the best.
Yeah,
You're the best of us.
Peter goes and fights. Like he goes to attack Fury. Everybody gets like blasted by these like microwave emitters at full blast, which powers down Gwenage and turns her back into Gwen Stacy. Some convenient smoke covers up any objectionable parts of her body.
Her clothes were not part of
They're
Carnage.
not part of Carnage.
Okay.
No, she can.
They actually tore off when she
did.
changed.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right. So,
And everyone is staring.
Yeah. So while that happens, Reed does some heavy calculations, and Nick Fury is like, "I'm sorry, kid, I gotta take you." And he's like, "Why? Why?" And he goes, "It wasn't you. It was your clones."
What?
So meanwhile, Mary Jane is.
Then why are you taking me in? Take them in.
Right, but
No,
like,
but they
used
showed
your-
like that you're too dangerous to be kept alive.
So Mary Jane is released, and she's like, "What'd you do to me?" He's like, I fixed you. Look, I took all of Osborn's notes that I could find in this abandoned factory and some old material, and it worked out great. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah,
Also,
look
here's
what it
your shirt
worked
back.
did for me.
Yeah. And she's like, "You put something inside of me? Like, you messed me up?" And he's like, "No, it's cool." So the stress of the situation causes Mary Jane to goblin out.
Oh boy.
So she transforms, thanks to the Oz formula, into a, like, shaggy red beast,
Because of her red hair?
I guess.
Into a thing we've never seen before.
Yeah. A thing that you would never have been able to guess, because why?
Because it shouldn't exist.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what she is now. She's a big, scary Sasquatch monster. So...
Sweet.
So Peter's under arrest by Nick Fury. The Fantastic Four are yelling at him, and he's like, "It's just stop. Guys, I really appreciate you backing me up." Because
Right.
Human Torch is like, "I'm gonna set all you on fire and take Peter away." And he's like, "Please, dude, I appreciate it,
Yeah,
but like, don't."
that's enough.
And then Spider-Woman shows up and grabs Peter, and she's like, "I gotta go." Mr. Parker, your 4 o'clock is here, yoink. So then he takes him away.
You quip like I do.
Right. Quip like I do. What? Spider-Woman takes Peter away. She frees him from his shackles. They go to the Jersey Turnpike and jump onto like a convenient truck. And he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Spider-Woman." And he's like,
No, but like, who are you though?
so she takes her mask off, and it's a female Peter Parker.
Yeah.
What?
Obviously.
What do you mean? It's just like it looks like Peter Parker, but it's a chick.
But it's a chick.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, "Holy shit. I hope this doesn't awaken something in me."
Too late.
But he's like, "Did my dad make you?" And she's like, "I'll tell you exactly what you want to know. About a month ago, I was born." And we get this whole exposition dump where basically, so Bendis created Ben Reilly as like a African-American scientist who worked with Kirk Connors, who was instrumental in creating the Carnage monster. And he's at fault for that.
Okay.
But when he got like arrested, he traded his like stolen notes from Kirk Connors, who's in jail, and parlayed them into a career working for the CIA to make clones.
Okay,
the CIA
so the
again.
CIA is making the
Yes,
clones.
the CIA is making the clones. And so Ben Reilly is like, he has this really creepy RoboCop opening sequence where like, remember when RoboCop wakes up and like we see the different like dates that he's like online, and people are talking to him and stuff? That's what happens here. We're like
He's tracking stuff. They're feeding him in the mush.
exactly.
It's New Year's.
So like in this one, he's like, "Hey, like don't talk. You can't, and you can't move your muscles because you don't have any. Like you're. Thank God we can't see what
she
Spider-Woman is because it's not pretty, and all she has is sentience and eyes. Ugh, I can't even imagine what horrors. That's why it's from her POV.
Right.
Basically, he's like, you know, I'm a shitty scientist. I stole some notes. I parlayed that into a career. Here's what I've been doing. I'm making clones. I work for the CIA.
Yeah, now I made you.
And I made you, and you're great. Congratulations. And but don't worry. And like one, you know,
We'll get your body real soon.
well, like, and we made all kinds of Peter Parker clones. Like we made all kinds of fun stuff. And like one time we flipped the chromosome. Now it's a chick. And you're the most successful one we made, and it's gonna be great. And we're gonna have a fucking telepath come in, and we're gonna pick out a name for you, and we're gonna make you think you're a girl, make you heterosexual. It's gonna be awesome.
What memories do they give her?
Well, right now, because they just cloned Peter Parker, and apparently memories are clonable, she has Peter Parker's memories.
But she's a girl.
Right.
So,
But don't worry.
does she remember having been a girl?
She remembers being Peter Parker and then waking up and being Spider-Woman.
Okay.
But then they're going to bring in a telepath to come in and overwrite all that shit with new made-up memory implants where you were a girl the whole time now.
Oh, that's weird. No, just... all right, I was you, and now I'm this.
No, but we need you to not be Peter Parker because he has this whole morality thing, and we need you to be because here's the thing.
You're going to be a little different.
We need can you imagine an army of Spider-Men rolling into the Middle East? And that's one of their examples.
Right.
It's that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna make secret agents that have mysterious dark pasts that they'll never be able to figure out.
Okay.
They're all Peter Parker.
Yeah. So
she's not supposed to remember all that.
she won't remember it. That's the plan. Because then they cut to her waking up and being given a body and her costume. They put her in the costume and she's they're like, hey, way to go, Jessica. Because they're going to call her Jessica Drew, which is Spider-Woman's name in the 616 universe. But she's like, don't call me that. My name's Peter. What are you doing? And they're like, oh, sorry. I mean no disrespect. This is Madam Web, and she's a telepath, and she's going to give you your new identity. This is your birthday. It's so sick and weird and creepy.
Yeah.
And she's just why did you do this to me? And then Carnage breaks through and wrecks everything, and they're like, oh no, the Stacy experiment. How did we make her? Who gives a shit? Don't worry about that. But Ben Reilly made Carnage, and we made somehow Gwen Stacy has survived.
And Peter's like, okay, you said you were going to tell me how Gwen Stacy was alive and all of it.
No one's going to. We have no idea. So
okay.
Yeah, so Carnage wrecks the room and just tears everything up. And she ends up wrecking the locking mechanisms on all the doors that belong to all the other clones. So doors open up, and the Kane clone comes out, and the Scorpion clone comes out, and the six-armed Spider-Man comes out, who looks more like a spider. He's got a spider face, from the Horrors of Spider Island.
Okay. I was wondering who the Wolfman was.
Yeah, he's a Spider-Man.
He's six-arm.
Yeah.
Got it.
Why did they do this with Peter Parker's DNA specifically?
Well, mostly because that's the DNA they had.
Oh, okay.
They got it
Did
from
they know
another
it was,
benefactor.
Yeah, but did they know it was Peter Parker's, or did they know it was...
Oh, yeah, no, they're good.
Spider-Man's?
Well, they know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Right, but did they know it was Spider-Man's DNA first, or Peter Parker's DNA first?
It was all the same.
They already knew he was Spider-Man when they started.
Yes, but you see how all of them go in their own directions. Where
they're
Six-Armed
just
Spider-Man's because this one dude who works there is oh, there's been an accident in the lab. Everybody has to go back to the rooms. And Six-Arm's no, you were not going to do that. I'm going to go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll go back to my room later. So he leaves and
I'm going to bitch slap you across the room is what
my
I'm gonna
room's
do.
out this window, right?
Right, bye. No, please.
Oh, I'm still getting fired.
But you see how all of them leave in their own directions where Kane is
Yeah.
we're going to save her. And
God.
The Scorpion one's ah!
Oh, I'm going to fuck shit up.
Madness! So...
Wait, guys, we should all stay together. Oh.
That's literally it. And Jessica's
I guess I'll leave too.
Yep. So she leaves, and he's just holy crap. So wait, where's Mary Jane? And she's I think one of your clones took her.
Yes.
And
I thought that was you.
No, it wasn't me. It was another clone.
was
But
another
we're going where I think she's being kept. Hopefully, we'll get there in time. And they jump off, and they arrive at Oscorp. And he's oh no.
Oh, no, not Oz. Oh, God.
So Peter and Jessica arrive as Kane is being threatened by the Mary Jane Goblin Sasquatch, and he's oh no, they've ruined her. They turned her. They used her. They used the Oz. Oz is horrible. Oz made me. It made goblins. Harry's life is ruined because he was a goblin man. Now Mary Jane's a goblin, presumably.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a couple of shots where she's really cute. She's got these fun big eyes and stuff. Just she'd be a great Funko Pop. So. The six-armed Spider-Man wakes up and he's hey, what's up? Oh shit, it's Peter Parker. What's up, man?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I tried to stop Kane, but I guess I didn't.
So he injected her with Oz. I'm sorry. And so Peter arrives and Mary Jane sees Peter and he's it's me. And Mary Jane powers down. So she's Mary Jane again. And Kane's see, we did it! And Spider-Man's fuck this guy. And he punches Kane in the face. He says, where'd you get Oz? This place is abandoned. There's no way you could have got Oz. It's so volatile.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not just sitting in a little tube somewhere.
Yes.
Someone had to make it.
And Doc Ock goes, he got it from me.
Okay.
What a great book. Right now.
Yes, it's pretty cool. A lot of every page Big reveal.
Yeah.
So while like Queens is under siege by Nick Fury and his Spider Slayers, the X-Men are watching it on TV. And
All right, I forgot all about Kitty Pryde.
Oh, yeah, Kitty Pryde.
yeah, while that's happening, Mary Jane's mom's like, "Oh, there's cameras. My daughter Mary Jane's missing. Here's her picture. Please find her." I'm like, "Way to go!"
That's awesome.
So Kitty Pryde's like, "Oh my god!" So she like phases into Professor X's room, and she's like, "We gotta go. Peter Parker needs help. We gotta save him." And Xavier's like, "Whoa, okay." So she's like, "Mary
That
Jane's
sounds like
missing."
a human problem.
Okay, that's not what Professor X is like.
Professor X's like, wait, okay. Start from the beginning. Who is Mary Jane? She's like, "Ah!"
Okay, see, this is why we can never have a good conversation with you.
Well,
She's just like, we have to go. Peter Parker's helped us in the last 2 X adventures we've had, and we've helped him 0 times. His life is ruined. Jean Grey put his mind into Wolverine's body one time. We owe him big time. Let's go. We gotta go to Queen. Everybody get your asses on the plane.
Unconscious.
Oh. No, she just goes, everybody get your asses on the plane. Let's go. And Cyclops goes, looks like we're going to Queens. I'm not gonna be the one to tell her not to.
Yeah.
They rush Aunt May into the hospital.
Okay.
You know, Richard and Sue are alone for a minute, and Sue's like, "Hey, nurse, can I use that?" And they're like, "You're a super genius doctor. We love you. We worship you. We have a poster of you in the room. Like, you can use all of our equipment. Knock yourself out."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Cool. Hey, Richard, give me your finger for a minute." Prick. Take blood.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Checks him out. Uses a remote desktop to get into her computer at home.
Nice.
Yep.
So that's happening. Meanwhile, Jessica is holding Peter back from attacking Doc Ock.
Hold me back.
Who has no arms.
Oh.
No extra arms.
No extra.
Oh,
arms, right.
okay.
Who has no arms. He's just a torso.
Yeah.
And 2 legs.
He's like, hello. They took both of them. No, he's
I've become very good at using my feet.
yeah. No, he's just
a guy.
Dr. Otto Octavius. And then
And yet he grafted the Scorpion onto Peter Parker.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if someone had 4 of these?
Boy, his life would be miserable. Imagine if somebody pulled that out, like you did to me. So Octavius is here. Then S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, and the Fantastic Four. So we got Doc Ock, the CIA, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Spider Slayers, Nick Fury, and the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man and all his clones. And they're all there
Right.
in Oscorp. And Dr. Richards is there. Reed Richards is like, Octavius, you made these clones? And he's like, yeah, I did. And I'm really good at it. Fuck you. I'm better than you.
He looks at Kane, he's like, you're not that good.
Yeah.
Look.
They're all gonna be
there's,
winners.
There's phases, you know? Look at Jessica here.
What about 6-armed furry boy over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I took this dude and I made him hot. Like, I'm fucking miracle worker.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What about Red Sasquatch?
Yeah. Well, that wasn't mine.
Hey, I didn't do that. Kane fucked.
Yeah, that means Peter Parker's the last scientist. So Peter gives Mary Jane, who's unconscious, to the Fantastic Four. She's like, please just help her.
Yeah.
Get her out of here.
Yeah.
So
and get the furry monster thing out of her too, if you can.
exactly. So as they're like taking Mary Jane, Kane comes to. He's like, no. He gets zapped by a bunch of like spider slayers.
Nice.
Jessica jumps in to try and fight them. Everybody gets shut up. Everyone's like, stop. No, we're not gonna have a big fight scene.
Right.
We need more exposition. So please just shut up.
Shut up and,
And
shut the fuck up.
shut the fuck up.
So Fury's like, everybody get out, especially you, Fantastic Four, you're making this worse. And Dr. Octopus is like, fuck everybody. Fuck all of you.
He's working for Fury, right?
No,
Or
he works for the CIA.
Oh, okay.
Because Fury's like, Doc, you're under arrest.
Yeah, he was the one making the clones.
Yeah, you're making illegal
I
genetic...
thought he had been captured by Fury, but I guess.
He was originally.
Oh, okay.
And Doc Ock made a deal with the CIA,
Oh, okay.
who hate Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., and they think it's
Right.
like, fuck that.
Okay.
So, Fury's like, you're under arrest. You shouldn't even be here. And Doc Ock's like, I don't answer to you, man. I work for the government. Who do you work for?
The government also?
No, you work for S.H.I.E.L.D., which is like something else. Like,
Yeah, it's
no one
like-
can pin down what exactly that is, but like every day, one of your Avengers like goes nuts and blows shit up, and I just made some spider clones. Like between the two of us,
Yeah.
one of us is an enemy of the state, and the other one,
Is earning a paycheck from them.
well, is
Yeah.
gonna get a Nobel fucking prize for making clones and shit. You think Dolly was cool? Try Peter Parker. How about
Hey,
that?
you want an extra eye?
I'll whip you up one really, really good, as long as you don't mind brown, because that's Peter Parker's eye color. Yeah, the government doesn't like the idea that there's one dude named Nick Fury who runs this clandestine spy organization who has their hand on the Captain America button. He's like, that's when the FBI called me up and brought me in, and I'm working for the feds. Like, I'm a member of the government.
Right.
I'm a world-renowned scientist, and all of that was like before spiders and octopi and Osborns. Like, I was a scientist, and all I wanted was to be recognized for my work, and now I am, and I'm fucking on top of the heap. I'm doing great, and they're like, "Fuck you, you're under arrest." And he's like, "No, you're under arrest." arrest. And it's just like, oh my God. There's a bunch of dudes being like, no, you're under arrest.
Yeah. How is Doc Ock gonna win this? He's going up. There's all these spider slayers and crap.
Right, but they're under orders from Nick Fury, and if like he's technically a member of the FBI or CIA,
he's like, you won't touch me.
yeah, you can't touch me.
Right.
So he explains like we had a Peter Parker blood sample from Kurt Connors, and that's true. That's you can check the
Right.
books. That's there. And he's like, we took that from his lab partner Ben Reilly, good man by the way. And we went to work and we whipped up all kinds of super soldiers. Now we're gonna make all kinds of people out of you. And we're going to use your genetic material to fund and further all of my work. I'm going to and you and your like little teeny weeny Peter Parker who humiliated me on TV. I'm going to use your genetic material. I'm going to pervert it. I'm going to manipulate it. I'm going to use it to win myself a Nobel Prize. And when I do, I'm going to personally thank you for it. Just like
I'm going to tell the world that you were the source of all this.
No, I think he's just going to be like, I want to give a special thank you to Peter Parker, without whom my work would be invaluable.
I'm gonna make a clone of you with big goofy ears and like weird lanky proportions.
I made one of you with no balls. I just laughed at you.
Ha ha ha!
I made one of you that's just you, and then I put a kick me sign on his back and made him walk around, and people laughed at him.
Right? How many clones did Doc Ock make where he just beat it to death?
Yeah, right?
I couldn't keep count.
Right? So while that's happening, Sue checks out the like blood sample that you took from Richard Parker, and it's a 99.34% match to Peter Parker.
Yep.
Richard Parker was a clone that was aged up
With no powers.
with memory implants.
And given Richard Parker's memories.
Not all of them. Like all the Richard Parker stuff, the plane crash.
Oh, yeah. Everything after
almost
that's made
divorce
up.
with his wife.
Yeah.
Like, all that's bullshit.
Uh-huh.
He's like days old.
Yeah.
We wasted a whole issue with a big retcon about Richard Parker. Yeah, no, and what's
Yeah,
great
obviously.
is then we cut back and he's like, I made a 6-arm version of you. I made an older version of you that we made think is your dad.
Why would you do that?
He's like,
And
that's
Peter's like,
he's like, that's not my dad. He goes, oh my God. You must be really stupid if you actually thought that was your father.
Yeah, we really half-assed that story. It really did not hold
It did
together.
not hold together.
He didn't get on the plane? Why would they have declared him dead? They could detect body parts and
have to
get
scan the
teeth and
ticket.
stuff. Like,
yeah. Even on private flights.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I love Doc Ock's like plan for the future. He goes, next year when 1,000 Thors descend on the Middle East and put that situation to rest, I will be given the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm like, okay.
I don't think
Slow
so.
your roll there, Doc.
Yeah, jeez.
Like, I feel really bad for this kid, because this is the moment where this kid's going to become a supervillain.
I have shit on this kid for a while now.
Yeah.
I arrested him on
regret
the steps of his house while his aunt was dying of a heart attack. And then this dude showed up and just like pantsed him and made fun of his dick. Like, so he's just like, okay, we're good. Like, hey, look, you can look at me like that all you want. Like, you want to kill me, but like, all the guns are pointed at you, Peter. So then Peter goes, Fury, I've got to deal with you. Take all of your spider slayers and all of your dudes and go outside and get some coffee and leave me in here for 5 minutes. And then I will come along quietly. And Fury's like, and then Doc Ock's like, that's very cute. Like, you think that Fury's in charge of this situation. So then Fury goes, all right, boys, you heard the man. Everybody out. And Doc Ock's like, what are you doing? Wait, do your job. Arrest this kid. And he's like, no, you're in charge. You want to be in charge.
Hey, you're the CIA, right?
You're in charge, man.
Why don't you take care of him?
Yeah. Go be in charge. And they all go outside, and he's like, okay.
Bet you wish you had your extra arms now, don't
Yeah.
you?
So Doc Ock's like, okay, this is the first day of my new life. I am not going to... And then all the spider people jump on him.
That's great.
So they're attacking him, and they're just like, he's like, oh, you're going to hit me? That's going to make you feel better? And Peter's like, yeah, it's going to make me feel a lot
Yeah,
better.
I feel a lot better.
So as Peter jumps for Doc Ock, a big chunk of debris just hits him in the face.
Oh, no.
And he's like, damn it! I didn't want this part of my life revealed to you. I didn't want anyone to know my secret. And they're like, whoa. And like the whole room just starts spinning. Like just all the debris in the room just starts like flying all over the place. A big chunk of debris flies at the 6-armed Spider-Man, embeds him to the wall. He's dead.
Oh, shit.
One fewer clone.
Took care of that clone.
He says, I always thought it was the arms, but it wasn't. It was the metal. I could control the metal. The
What?
explosion that made me Doc Ock unlocked my mutant ability.
What? He's Magneto?
He's a Magneto.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming.
And he just pulls all the metal from the room and
makes arms
some
out of
arms.
it.
And he's like, I like using them. I'm good at
I
them.
just like having the arm.
I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
I could do other stuff with metal, but I want to do the arm thing.
Exactly.
It's what our,
I can
it's
also
my
make
comfort
like
zone.
6,
Yeah.
10, 20
Yeah.
arms, but I'm only going to make the
He only makes the 4.
Yeah, it gets a little difficult to control that many different
That's
separate
true.
things.
When that issue dropped, the Bendis boards had a collective shit fit about Magneto Jr. or Discount Magneto or
Discount
how
Magneto.
bullshit it was. They were like, fuck that, you destroyed Doc Ock. And I'm like, this is the best moment in Ultimate Doc Ock's entire history of the book. Like, from him being Doc Ock, humiliated, wearing tighty whities, all the way to like being in the Sinister Six, to this, like him being like, I don't fucking need arms, man. I just was a scientist and I like ruined you worse than I ever could have as Doc Ock. And then it's like, actually, it turns out like I'm a mutant and I can manipulate the metal.
Yeah.
And it's just that's how the arms worked. I'm like, that's really fun. Like I was vehemently in the boards being like, dude, this is dope. Because they ruined his character. And I remember being like, oh yeah, what fundamental aspect of Otto Octavius is destroyed by him?
The fact that he uses mechanical arms
He's
that are
using them
controlled
right
by
now.
a computer.
Oh,
No.
right. Except that like
No,
they're
this
not.
is supposed to be like, robotics, not metal manipulation.
Right. And I'm
He's
like,
not supposed to have powers.
and it's like,
he
he's
has
not
now
a
been
mutant.
ruined.
yeah. But like, what's great is
You don't get your mutant powers when you're like 45.
Yeah, but like,
Why aren't I here yet? I've gone through so much.
okay, dude, I'm sorry.
Whoa,
Jeez.
calm down.
All right, calm
Oh,
down, buddy.
Jesus.
There will never be a better Doc Ock story in the Ultimate Spider-Man book. So it's like, if you're gonna retire Doc Ock, like do it with this.
Yeah.
Like make it so
Okay.
it's like, hey, you know what? I've done all the arm stories I can do. We're done.
Right.
How many more times can Spider-Man pull his arms out?
Yeah.
So
All right, so now he's just like, like it's all out in the
right.
open now.
Yeah.
Like I have these powers.
Yeah.
I can't go back to the CIA
no,
probably.
he's like, fuck that, I'm good. Like he
Yeah.
still thinks he can salvage this.
Oh, really?
I'll just kill everyone in the room.
Oh, right. And then nobody will know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And then he'll hold up a thing and be like, diplomatic immunity.
and then Nick Fury can be like, blam. It's
Oh,
just
you're a
been
mutant? Oh.
revoked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, except Nick Fury would shoot him in the face and fucking Doc Ock would stop it with his metal
Yeah,
power.
that's true.
But so there's a subplot. The Fantastic Four bring Mary Jane to the Baxter Building.
Oh,
And
yeah.
She hulks out and becomes a monster, fights Thing. But then she sees the Scorpion clone as Peter, and she powers down, and then they figure it out and they fix her. Like whatever.
They get it out of
They
him.
get it out of him.
Apparently, you
Did
can
they
just do
fix
that.
him?
Who?
Scorpion Peter.
I don't remember what happens to Scorpion.
Nah, he's a stupid clone. They're just gonna kill him.
Yeah, we don't have to worry with it.
He's been stuck in a bubble since he attacked Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was it.
And he's gonna
he was
be in
only
a
there to
bubble
be
for
like,
the rest of his
"What?"
life.
Yeah, that's it. Sue sits with like Richard, fake Peter, and he's just like, "Yeah, you're sorry." And like as they're talking, like he's aging more.
Oh no.
Like he was just accelerated and they couldn't stop it. So like
Oh.
basically they just talk and he she's just like, the Parkers died in a plane crash. Like you're Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And so ultimately they just sit on the roof of the hospital and talk for a minute. And he's just like, could you do me a favor and like be a friend to Peter? Because he thinks he doesn't have any friends, but like he really does. But like be a friend. And then he dies.
Yeah, and she's like just watching him become bones and dust.
He does not do that. He just becomes old and dies. Like his organs shut down.
Yeah. Jeez.
But,
Okay.
And unlike the 616 clones, they don't like then melt.
Right. Ugh.
So,
Okay.
I've turned into a nice potpourri.
Yeah. So Nick Fury is outside when Henry Peter Gyrick comes in and he's like, hey, Fury, what are you doing? And Fury's like, hey, you're under arrest. And he's like, I'm not under arrest, you're under arrest. Like, what's
Arrest
going on there?
yourself.
He's like, where is Dr. Octavius? Because we need that guy. He's really important to our research. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what kind of research is that exactly? He's like, you know what I'm talking about. And it's
Don't
just
make me
great.
say it.
Why don't you
He
say
goes-
it out loud?
He goes, Fury, this is a really serious situation. He goes, what situation? And he's like, you know what situation? He goes, well, what? He's, you know what? You know what? Know what? What do you?
What do I know? Tell me. Why don't you tell me what I know?
Literally that. So they're having that conversation while there's a battle for like at least 3 different spider lives.
Yeah. Wow.
So the two of them just like
Yeah, there's an arm for each one of them.
exactly.
So who's left? We got Kane
Kane-
is still alive.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman's still alive.
Kane, Spider-Woman, Peter,
And Peter,
and
okay.
Doc Ock. He whips out his arms and he like fights them.
Yeah.
And like there's like as he's making arms, like he's also like creating like a storm cloud of metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more complicated than it should be.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Well, it's just like like it's fucking Peter Parker fighting Magneto, which like
Yes.
he should not be able to.
exactly.
Also, like you
But
can't
there are
see
3 of
happens.
them.
Yeah. Well,
What's
there are
that?
two of them. Kane doesn't.
Oh,
he's
he's
unconscious. They shot him with like a laser gun or whatever, so he's like
okay.
on the ground.
All right, so it's
but,
two.
I love it because the two of them like they leap in and it's a big fun fight sequence that ultimately ends with Peter and Jessica going, "Hey, this isn't metal, is it?" And they just punch him in the face.
Nice.
Who knock his ass out, and then Jessica goes and checks on Kane, who is dead.
Oh.
And she's
Oh, wow.
He's like, "Oh, is he dead?" She's like, "They're both dead." He's like, "Well, that kind of cleaned itself up, didn't it?"
Oh, wow. There's way less clones now.
And she's like, what are you saying about clones? That we should all die?
He didn't say that. I'm saying that. But like, basically, he's like, "Okay, well, I made a deal with Fury. I got to go outside." She's like, "What are you, crazy?"
Yeah, she's like, what? Go back on that deal.
No, it's okay. And he's like, "No, I made a promise." And she's like, "Idiot. All right, good luck. Bye."
It's like, hey, aren't you me? Shouldn't you be advising me to do the right thing? What's wrong with you?
Nah. So she leaves.
Yeah, but then I found out I was a fucking clone
Yeah,
and like all this
exactly.
bullshit happened. Like, no,
I realized
fuck
my
that.
entire life is a lie, and I'm
Yeah.
in charge of my own fate.
I got these boots. I don't know what to do. So Peter brings out the unconscious body of Doc Ock. He's like, "Here you go." Fury's like, "Where's the girl version of you?" And he's like, she left.
Yeah, she fucked off.
She's gone."
She called me a pussy and then she left.
There are two dead versions of me inside, though. If
Yeah, you want those dead ones.
Exactly. So Peter like yells at Gyrick. Gyrick is like, "Oh, I'm gonna arrest you. I'm gonna arrest somebody today." Human Torch shows up and he's like, "Hey, we got Mary Jane. It's good. We're gonna go." So he just grabs Peter. He's like, "Let's go." He flies away. So Peter arrives at the Baxter building. The Fantastic Four are like, "We fixed her.
We got the stuff out of her.
We got it out of her."
She's better.
You fixed her? Or did you just put her in a Fantastic Four suit and it said, "Welcome to the team"?
Because I see her wearing
Hey
a
there, new
Fantastic
thing.
Four tank top.
Hey there, furry thing.
That'd be kind of fun.
We call her Wild Thing.
Yeah, she's basically Sasquatch, but yeah. So they're like, "Okay, you're good." He's like, "That's it?" No, I mean, like, not really. We got like 1,000 tests to run, but like, the reality is like Norman Osborn. He's smart, but like, it's the Fantastic Four.
It's Oz. We
Yeah.
can take it out of her.
We got it. And
Wait, does that mean
meanwhile,
they could fix Norman Osborn?
theoretically, Peter hugs her. He's like, he hugs her and he's like, "I'm so sorry this all happened." She's like, "Was it you?" He's like, "I mean, no." She's like, "Then what are you apologizing?" He's like, "MJ, I'm in love with you.
Oh.
We should be together. I'm sorry. This shit's gonna happen no matter what. We might as well just be together.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
shit.
I fucked up." And she's like, "Yay!" And
Kitty
Kitty
Pryde was
Pryde's
listening
like-
the whole time.
I just got here to help you.
oh no, that's coming. That's coming.
Yeah.
So while they're talking about how they cured Mary Jane, they're like, "It turns out like we could cure Oz. So I guess you don't have to be Spider-Man anymore if you don't want to."
Oh. Spider-Man no more?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So Peter's like, I gotta go deal with stuff, but like let them run their tests and then I'll come and get you. And he kisses her and he leaves.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury and the Avengers show up, or the Ultimates, and they're like, "Hey, where's Peter?" And things like, "Who's Peter Parker?" I don't know what you mean. It's like, okay, I've had just about enough of that kind of bullshit.
Right.
And then Mary Jane goes, Peter looks up to you like a father. He just wants to be you. Like he sees you protecting the world. That's all he wants to do. And you want to like arrest him? Like why?
Yeah, for what?
Like fuck you.
Because he hit you once?
Yeah. And Nick Fury's like, oh. So then in Queens, the X-Men arrive in a cloaked Blackbird. Jean Grey's like combing the crowd, and she's like, "Oh, Peter's aunt had a heart attack." And Kitty's like, "We gotta go!" So they run to the hospital. Peter goes to the hospital. Aunt May is stable. Sue Storm is there. She's like, "Hey, so I'm great at this doctoring thing." So
I saved your life.
I saved her life.
Single-handedly.
And I got some news for you about your dad. He's like, "He's a clone." She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah."
And he's also dead already.
Yeah. She's like, "That sucks. I gotta go.
Sorry.
This is a long day for you. I'm gonna go." And so she leaves, and he sits by Aunt May's side. He just cries, and he says like I know I should have told you, and like I'm so sorry for everything, and basically like
Now they're giving me the option of like not being Spider-Man.
He doesn't
And
say
I know is
that.
what you would want.
no, he's just upset because she said he wasn't her son. And he's like, "Because I am your son."
Oh.
So then Nick Fury and the Ultimates show up. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "This is a pretty bad place for you to be right now." And Nick Fury's like, "Look, dude, okay, so we're at the end of the book, and you didn't turn into a supervillain, and the reason why I made Spider Slayers is because, like, most people who go through the kind of tragedy and trauma that you go through turn into supervillains."
Like
And,
they
like,
figure
Kind of
like the
seemed
only
like
they kind of think the world owes them something.
well, not only it owes them something, but the only way they can deal with it is to like punch things
Yeah.
or destroy stuff.
and you did hit me.
right, and that was kind of like the trigger for me.
So I was like, oh,
Oh, he's turning.
Here we go.
like I hit people all the time.
And
You wanted me to hit people
Right.
before.
And he's like, but you have friends and you have like powers and like we can't really chart them and like you were gonna be the next big supervillain. He's like, wow, that's kind of cool. And he's like, it is not cool. But like, listen,
You're getting the wrong lesson
good.
from
right?
this.
But he's like, look, okay. So after going through the shit you went through today, I'm pretty convinced you're a good guy. And he's like, wow, thanks.
Because if you haven't turned by now,
you would
Yeah,
have.
nothing would have
Nothing
turned
will
you.
change you.
Yeah.
And he's like, in fact, and because of Mary Jane, he's like, in fact, I'm seeing the birth of something really special here. And so I'm counting on you to do the right thing and keep it up, as long as you don't get killed before high school. So Peter's like, thanks a lot. And hey, you're going back to the Baxter building. Could you tell Reed, like, thank you, but no thank you?
Nick's like, I'm not going back to the Baxter building. I just came from there.
I'm not calling anybody. I'm not your fucking messenger. I'm the goddamn head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Stupid idiot kid. Call him yourself, dipshit. Talking to himself on the way downstairs. I can't believe this fucking kid told me to take a message. Call Reed Rich on
Balls on that son of a bitch.
piece of shit.
He is my son.
Maybe I will go back and arrest him.
Oh, hey, I'm back. Yeah, fucking tender moment, but you know what? You're under arrest. Fucking little kid. Yeah, gotcha.
Show
Yeah, that's what
you.
I'm gonna fucking say to him. Yeah, and then he'll punch me in the face. But I'll be ready. I got my shield already. You think it's just the name of the organization? No, I got one. Oh, hey, they got tacos here. So Aunt May wakes up and she's like, hey. And meanwhile, Kitty and Jean Grey are in the hospital, and Jean is using her mind powers to make everyone not see them.
Right.
And Jean tells Kitty like, oh, Aunt May knows that he's Spider-Man.
Oh.
And she goes, oh, Professor,
moment?
are you listening to my thoughts right now? And he's like, yes, I am. And she's like, listen, I know that Peter does not want Aunt May to know that he's Spider-Man. So I need you to go into Aunt May's mind and take away Peter Parker's identity.
No!
What?
And Professor X is like, that is a gross violation. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
She's like, but you do that all the time. And he's like, it's not the right thing to do. And she's like, I hate you. You're the worst. And she runs away. And Jean's like, maybe she's right. And Charles goes, she's not.
Nope. Nope, that's fucked up.
She's not. And then Aunt May is just like, hey, it's a terrible costume.
What?
And Peter's like, I know, it sucks. And then she just hugs him. She hugs him and calls him her boy. And Jean's like, oh, you were right. And Professor's like, yeah.
Yeah. No shit, I was
Yeah,
right.
That's why
I
I'm
read her
Professor
mind
Xavier.
and saw she was cool with it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe if you read like 2 minutes further into her mind.
That's why
Yeah.
you don't tell people what's happening minute by minute, you freaking amateur.
Jesus, Jade, you're the worst telepath ever.
God. You know, you the first thing you should have done when you found out you were a telepath is go into my mind and download how to be a telepath. You fucking moron. You still haven't had that idea.
I'm saying it right now. You're still not doing it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
What's funny is, you might have had it, and I might have removed it from your mind. You wouldn't even know
You
about
never
it. That's
know.
how weak you are.
Yeah.
So angry right now. I'm gonna become the Phoenix.
What's a Phoenix? Yeah, that's what I thought. Meanwhile, Sharon Connor's standing on the roof of a car in Queens in that like area in Forest Hills. She's like, ladies and gentlemen, what you saw was swamp gas reflecting off the moons of Venus.
That's right. I saw Men in Black.
Yeah, no, she basically is just like, so that was a training exercise or something. Everyone go home, and if you don't have a home because it got blown up, we're going to write you a big fat check for your home.
We're sorry we blew up your home in a training exercise, but there was no way around
There's
it.
nothing, no, they go, Norman Osborn went crazy and turned into a goblin and attacked everybody.
Oh.
That's the cover story.
Oh, again?
So,
Yeah, he gets around.
yeah. Meanwhile, Mary Jane shows up and she's like, hey, Mom. And her mom's like, ah! So they hug. Meanwhile, Peter goes back to the warehouse, runs into Jess, and he's like, I thought I'd find you here. And she's like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm here.
I
Isn't
had that
fucked
same
up?
thought.
Is that weird?
We're the same person.
Yeah.
This is really
Isn't this
uncomfortable.
kind of weird?
This is really weird.
I should not be here.
So he goes, what are you going to do with yourself?
That's why they do a really cool handshake that they didn't practice beforehand.
Yeah. Oh. But it's a synchronized awkwardness. No, he goes, what are you going to do now? And she goes, I thought I'd go to school with you. And he's like, and she's like, I'm just kidding. That'd be fucked up, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be, how would you explain that? No. And he's like, okay. All right.
Yeah. It's really funny.
I'm gonna figure out who I am.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
can't
like,
be here.
'cause
I'm
now-
gonna get on a motorcycle and I'm gonna ride away.
Right. I'll be back in 5 years.
5 years.
No, she's like, I'm gonna go. I feel like I'm gonna find out who this Jessica Drew person is. Like I'm gonna get in touch with my feminine side, figure out who I am.
Right.
And she's like, I gotta get some money. He's like, don't rob a bank. It'll make me look bad. And so he's like, oh, but, let me bring it up to speed. Aunt May knows, and she's cool with it. And Mary Jane is fixed. And she's like, cool. All right.
Sweet.
All right, let's hug, because that'll be awkward. And then they hug each other. And he's like, all right, good luck. And so she fires her organic webs and swings away, and he's like, gross. And then,
Still gross.
after all that, Nick Fury recovers the body of Scorpion and Gwen Clone and puts them into a stasis field. And one of like the scientists on hand is like, what are you going to do with them? And Fury goes, get to work. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Nick, you didn't learn a fucking thing.
Nope.
You were like, what? You guys are cloning? That's fucked up. Oh, we got some clones? Let's start cloning.
Well, I mean, we better learn how it happened.
Yeah, listen, I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
I
gonna-
better get to cloning. Doc Ock was right about one thing. He's better at cloning than me, and I cannot have that.
Can I like that? So, Aunt May's.
Yeah, but like, why though?
Right,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sure we'll come up with something.
We'll come up with a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
So,
I come with the reason afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Peter's house is wrecked, and they're still like working on it.
Did they cut them a big fat check?
They did, and Pete and Aunt May are gonna stay at Mary Jane's house. It's like, sweet.
Are they gonna go buy back their old house?
Nah.
Oh.
No, that's
Since
done.
now it's, I don't know.
They have a perfectly good house they could go in.
Oh yeah, that's true. But,
And Gwenage is alive.
yeah, but Gwen is just under Shield custody. Like,
Yeah.
we just know she's alive somewhere.
Yeah, but you saw her. It's a little therapeutic.
Yeah, it's cathartic. She's back.
There's a version of her that's alive.
It's alive. It's like she didn't die at all.
Yeah.
Except she totally did, though. She's buried somewhere. So Pete and Mary Jane kiss, and then she's like, come on, let's go home. And then they leave, and Kitty Pryde is just standing there like, fuck me.
Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
He didn't even tell me we were broken up. He's already hooking up with someone else.
So then Mary
Dick
Jane
move, Peter.
Mary Jane wakes up, and she has a dream. Like, she has a nightmare. She wakes up. She goes and sees Peter sleeping. She feels good about herself. She tries to brush her teeth. She has like a tremor.
Oh no.
And then it stills, and she's like, "All right, I got this under control." And then Peter's behind her, and he goes, "You okay?" But it's the Kane Peter. And she like has a fucking panic attack, and it's real Peter. And he's just like, "What's up?" And they just hug each other, like all this shit has a price.
Yeah.
She's got PTSD, and it's not gonna go away
Now she's fucked up.
because she turned into a Sasquatch. Like,
I'm just glad it wasn't Kitty Pryde like fucking with her.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, the next issue is great because like Peter and Mary Jane go back to school, and like MJ's like, have you broken up with Kitty yet? Because it's only gonna get worse.
Yep.
And then Kitty goes to school there. The last page reveals her being welcomed into their classroom, and she's got this look on her face like, oh man, this is gonna be awkward.
Why did I do this?
Why is this happening? Well, because she got kicked out of the Xavier school.
Yeah. This is Professor X punishing her.
Yeah, Professor X is like, I know what you're thinking about what an asshole I am. I can't abide that.
Nope.
I let Wolverine in.
Hey.
But you called me a jerk telepathically. That I cannot abide.
Yeah.
Fuck out.
He's a murdering psychopath, but you called me a jerk. So I'm gonna make you go to school with your ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is his old girlfriend.
I made you think that was a really good idea.
You know how
why
I know
did
you're gonna do
do
that?
this?
Because I'm gonna make you do it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to make a version of you do that. I'm going to put your conscious mind in the back and watch your unconscious mind act.
You're gonna hate every minute of it, but you won't be
my
able to
God.
control or stop yourself.
Yeah, because I'm a fucking psycho, apparently.
Apparently, Professor X is the villain of these stories.
He's the biggest. He's Onslaught. So, Ultimate Clone Saga. What do you think? I think it's pretty cool. And
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it cleans itself up.
Okay.
Yeah, it does clean
Clones
itself
die.
up.
Clones
It's
come and
over.
go. It's over.
Like, it's this one volume and that's it. It's a long volume.
Does Mary Jane turn into a Sasquatch again? Yes. But, like, is it an ongoing thing? No.
And
It's
it
not
doesn't
like
have
she's
anything
a
to do with
Sasquatch all
clones,
the
so that's
time.
fine.
Yeah, and the only clone that makes it is Jessica Drew.
Right. Well, and the ones in that Fury has.
Oh, yeah, Scorpion.
Yeah, Gwen. Who does, they figure that out.
And Scorpion.
And
Yeah,
Scorpion.
And Scorpion, which, like, I
Scorpion.
don't even remember what the fuck they do with that guy.
Probably nothing.
Ultimate Clone Saga. Check it out. It's totally worth the price of admission. The next arc is pretty dope, but I doubt anyone's going to ask for it. Basically, Daredevil's like, hey, why don't I just kill the Kingpin? I'm gonna,
In Ultimate Spider-Man.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm an ultimate version of Matt Murdock, so
Murdock,
maybe
where
I'll
I'm
just
like-
fucking kill him.
Well, he's just like more like direct. He's just like, fuck it. You know what? Like, yeah, I'm Catholic and murder's bad, but like, it's the Kingpin. It's fine.
Yeah.
So he
I'll ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to
I'll
ask for
say
that.
like 20 Hail Marys. or
Yeah, I'll do a
whatever.
couple of rosaries and it'll be fine. We did it, and we did it right before the next year. So, haha, 2021, so long. See you next year with more Ultimate Spider-Man, I guess. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, like, you know.
Maybe.
I doubt it. I feel like people are going to be like, you did the Clone Saga. That's all I was here for.
Yeah, you finally did it.
Yeah. I've lost like 100 subs.
There we go. Unsub.
Yeah.
Finally. Click. No, they'll find another white whale to chase.
Yeah.
What is it in the comments down below?
We got to get to the introduction of Miles Morales, right?
That's true. We gotta.
People definitely hanging on for that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. We have not introduced Miles on this couch.
Yeah, we got
Miles
to
has been
beat
on
this
couch.
horse to death.
That's right.
That's probably a ways, right? That's
It's another 100 issues.
okay.
Well, maybe less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less,
Oh, okay.
but not by much. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next time with an all-new episode of Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
So long.
Gross.
Yeah.
Thwip, yeah.
Yeah, I like how she like points. It's just-
Gross. Well, yeah, it doesn't come out of the wrist.